Another day in Indiana and another comment by one of our politicians. Here is our lovely governor.
So you would be okay with the Supreme Court leaving the question of interracial marriage to the states?
Yes, I think that that's something that if you're not wanting the Supreme Court to weigh in on issues like that, you're not going to be able to have your cake and eat it too. I think that's hypocritical.
What about Griswold versus Connecticut?
Well, you can list a whole host of issues. When it comes down to whatever they are, I'm going to say that they're not going to all make you happy within a given state, but that we're better off having states manifest their points of view rather than homogenizing it across the country as Roe versus Wade did.
Now, I listened to Republicans for 4 years complaining about Democrats, saying they're trying to take away their rights, that they were forcing them to get vaccines, that they made them wear masks, that they had to do all this stuff they didn't want to do. But this is what taking away rights really looks like. Telling you who you can marry, whether you have bodily autonomy, whether we have the freedom of speech, and before you come at me, Gulf of Mexico, and taking away our voting rights. I don't understand how you guys can't see the difference.
The senator of Indiana, Senator Mike Braun, just said that interracial marriage should be a decision that's taken over by the states. Remember what happened when they did that with abortion and now it's illegal in a bunch of states? That's what they're going to try to do. And after interracial marriage, not even after, maybe at the same time, they will be coming for gay marriage next. When y'all voted this Trump wannabe into office, I knew some dumb shit was about to happen. He's already cut Medicaid, been super pro-Israel, given them a bunch of money, supported a bunch of huge corporations, and given them no tax cuts.
Family, imagine living in this day and time in 2025 and hearing a U.S. senator saying that states should have the power to ban interracial marriages. Yeah, you had it right. A Republican senator mentioned that he prefers that states have power, to ensure that interracial marriages are banned. And family, that did not sit well with most Americans. Americans have taken online to react to the same. I've seen videos on TikTok, Instagram, and other social media platforms of Americans complaining about this. Funny enough, I asked myself a question. Why would this Republican senator mention that? What is the threat that comes, with interracial marriages? And one thought passed my mind. Is it because the American government and the white supremacists are afraid because these interracial marriages are leading, to white families slowly, finishing up? Because you understand that when a black and white mixes, many a times the one who's born is never white. The mixed colors usually are not ending up to be white. Many a times it's brown, and these could have brought the problem right now in America. Family, this did not sit well with a lot of people. And fam, I want you to listen to them as they complain, as they call out, this senator. Once the video is done, we will get back and do a critical analysis about the same. Let's watch this video together, family.
When you want that diversity to shine within our federal system, there are going to be rules and proceedings. They're going to be out of sync with maybe what other states would do. It's the beauty of the system, and that's where the differences among points of view in our 50 states ought to express themselves. And I'm not saying that rule would apply in general, depending on the topic, but it should mostly be in general, because it's hard to have it on issues that you just are interested in when you deny it for others with a different point of view.
So you would be okay with the Supreme Court leaving the question of interracial marriage to the states?
Yes, I think that that's something that if you're not wanting the Supreme Court to weigh in on issues like that, you're not going to be able to have your cake and eat it too. I think that's hypocritical.
Senator Mike Braun from Indiana on national television says that interracial marriages now should be left to individual states. Can we say that again? Interracial marriages should be left to the states. That's what the Supreme Court should say, he said. Where are we at, guys? We're not getting there. We're there. We are there. Anybody that's different, anything that's not aligned with certain individuals' life or what they see as normal or right is getting challenged. Think about that.
Hey everyone, happy Thursday. So I'm sure some of you have seen the posts. I reposted the video in my repost, but I've also posted a picture of it. But there's a senator saying now that interracial marriage should be up to the states. That means that's probably, sorry, I had to adjust, I'm in pain. That's probably going to go to the Supreme Court now. So I literally just said this yesterday. This is coming, and this is so messed up. I've never wanted to be wrong more in my life. I wish this wasn't happening. This is absolutely disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. But it's coming, and we need to prepare. Just want to put this out there, and you can look for yourself. I'll share more information as I get it. So as always, input is welcome. Hate is not. Bye, guys.
The senator of Indiana, Senator Mike Braun, just said that interracial marriage should be a decision that's taken over by the states. Remember what happened when they did that with abortion, and now it's illegal in a bunch of states? That's what they're going to try to do. And after interracial marriage, not even after, maybe at the same time, they will be coming for gay marriage next. When y'all voted this Trump wannabe into office, I knew some dumb shit was about to happen. He's already cut Medicaid, been super pro-Israel, given them a bunch of money, supported a bunch of huge corporations, and given them no tax cuts. This is the list of everyone who's gotten bribes from AIPAC. And, oh, he is. And you sold out to Israel for $75,000. Good to know. A lot of other people sold out for more, but yeah, if you go to Open Secrets, you can see all the people who were given money by AIPAC. Top Democrats who love Israel, of course, at the top. Chuck Schumer. Yup, makes sense. Now, what do we do? One, direct action is the only thing that politicians actually care about. Blocking them, protesting, going into their way to make things harder for them. And that's when they actually start listening. In 2020, when they did all the protests for the police, it was only when protests turned violent and when senators actually started to be intimidated by the level of people who were coming out, by the number of people who were coming out, and that's when they actually had started defunding the police. Now, did those things stay in place? And have they defunded the police at all? Since then, no. We have actually funded the police even more. These are genuinely scary times, but invest in your communities, disrupt politicians, get in their way, make them uncomfortable, call them, vote in local elections. I'll be posting more about that. And yeah, get married interracially as soon as possible, because that may be going away from a product of interracial marriage. Hopefully it doesn't, but...
Okay, before I get into this, sudden, I'm speaking from the perspective as a white man in an interracial marriage. And this is for other white people, so y'all aren't fucking surprised when this happens. When, not if, when they come for interracial marriage, I'm telling you, there's going to be a whole lot of fucking white people that walk away from their partners and from their kids. There's going to be some of you white people right now that are like, oh my God, no way, that would never happen. You're just fear-mongering, or you're just this and that. No, listen. I've made a video about interracial marriage before, and the amount of comments that I've gotten from people about their white partners who are completely not in touch with politics or not political are a lot. You will see white partners in these marriages choose white supremacy over their own partners and children. I promise you. Because mind you, These white people have partners and children that look like the people that are being snatched by ICE. They're watching Trump on down talk about their partners being DEI hires at work. Doesn't move them. They don't give a fuck. These same partners, white partners, tokenize their spouse at every turn. So I can't be racist. I have a black, indigenous spouse of color. Y'all see it on here all the time. But when the pressure hits and it's building, white people fucking fold to white supremacy all the goddamn time. That's what's happening right now on a national scale. And we're seeing it. We got concentration camps in America. We got the National Guard in LA and DC. We got ICE snatching up kids, families, deporting them. Doesn't matter if they're fucking citizens or not. And white people aren't moved to do shit. So you think when they come down and they try to attack interracial marriage, it's going to move white people? Absolutely the fuck not. JD Vance, I wouldn't be surprised if he set the standard and said, I'm leaving my wife for X, Y, and Z reason. He'll make some bullshit up. And other white Americans will be like, oh yeah, he did it? All right, yep, then it's safe for me to walk away. When you as a white person can be in an interracial marriage and you see the way the entire country is treating people that look just like your children or your partner, and you just say, I'm not political, or we don't talk about that in my house, you're fucking going to, when the government comes for your shit. Well, you're probably not, because you're going to be too scared to say anything or do anything. Because you're just going to be scared about violence from other white people for being in an interracial marriage. White people as a whole value white supremacy more than anything in their fucking life. 3 out of 5 white men voted for Trump. 1 out of 2 white women voted for Trump. And everything that's happening right now is what they want. And other white people that don't have a fucking spine, or other white people that don't view their partners as human beings, that don't see their children, their biracial children, as human beings, they'll walk the fuck away. I'm calling it right now.
Are you absolutely kidding me? GOP governor, Republican governor of Indiana, is trying to walk back interracial marriage. Oh, wow. What year is this? I'm Sergeant Rob, United States Marine Corps infantry veteran, 5 years. Look, they're going after same-sex marriage. Now they're going after interracial marriage. Soon, they won't have anyone that falls into those 2 categories around anymore. That's where we're going. That's what we're going back to. We're going pre-antebellum stage here. We are going such in the wrong direction that there will not be a recognizable America in which we know it as America any longer. And that's my opinion. This is information that's being shoved in our face because they're not hiding their goals and their wants anymore. They're coming after every individual American and their rights. And again, it's just what I've been seeing. It's what is happening. It is what they're telling us they want to do. It is not misinformation. It is the truth. Because the fact that they're going on social media, posting these things, championing these things to take away the rights of love from our citizens is ridiculous. It's infuriating. Everyone should be up in arms about this because it doesn't matter what gender, ethnicity, or color you are. Love should not be dictated by the government. And maybe we should just abolish marriage altogether if they're to treat it like a weapon against their citizens. Because outside of a tax break, what do you get from it? A piece of paper. It really doesn't matter at the end of the day because you can still love who you love and be in love with those that you love. So, the fact that this administration is coming after these things, we're past the tipping point, guys. We are. Because do you think they're going to stop here? And if it doesn't affect you now, when will it? Probably very soon. Medicaid's looking at a $500 billion cut. While they spend $200 million on an expansion for a ballroom, we're slicing our national parks in half, trying to sell them off for oil rights and mineral rights.
Guys, it is 2025, and we are actually sitting here watching the Supreme Court consider whether or not they want to take up a case that could overturn marriage equality. 10 years after Obergefell versus Hodges made same-sex marriage legal nationwide, they're entertaining the idea of rolling back that decision because of Kim Davis. And yes, that is the same Kentucky county clerk who in 2015 refused to issue marriage licenses to same-sex couples. And she's appealing a ruling against her. And so, back then she spent like 6 days in jail for contempt, and she lost about like $100,000 jury verdict for emotional damages plus $260,000 in attorney fees. And instead of just accepting that she broke the law, she's using her appeal to explicitly ask the court to overturn the entire ruling that gave LGBTQ plus Americans the right to marry. The Supreme Court has never before agreed to hear a case directly challenging Obergefell, and the fact that in 2025 they're even thinking about it should honestly scare the hell out of everyone. This isn't just about Kim Davis's personal beliefs. This is about whether this court will take away rights that have been settled for a decade. And if they can take away marriage equality after 10 years, you better believe that they can take away any right they don't personally approve of.
Another day in Indiana and another comment by one of our politicians. Here is our lovely governor.
So you would be okay with the Supreme Court leaving the question of interracial marriage to the states?
Yes, I think that that's something that if you're not wanting the Supreme Court to weigh in on issues like that, you're not going to be able to have your cake and eat it too. I think that's hypocritical.
What about Griswold versus Connecticut?
Well, you can list a whole host of issues. When it comes down to whatever they are, I'm going to say that they're not going to all make you happy within a given state, but that we're better off having states manifest their points of view rather than homogenizing it across the country as Roe versus Wade did.
Now, I listened to Republicans for 4 years complaining about Democrats, saying they're trying to take away their rights, that they were forcing them to get vaccines, that they made them wear masks, that they had to do all this stuff they didn't want to do. But this is what taking away rights really looks like. Telling you who you can marry, whether you have bodily autonomy, whether we have the freedom of speech, and before you come at me, Gulf of Mexico, and taking away our voting rights. I don't understand how you guys can't see the difference.
If the Supreme Court were to overturn Loving v. Virginia, it would not be about interracial marriage. It would be about the fact that a lot of this comes down to there aren't having enough white babies. Once interracial marriage became a thing, white women started marrying everything but white men. Interracial marriage is still not more dominant than same-race marriage, but it's pretty popular. And considering white women are the largest participant in it, yeah, it's fucking with the white population. It's not about whether or not you have the right to marry somebody outside of your race. It's about the fact that white women ain't crapping out them white babies.
Y'all, this world's crazy, man. Did y'all see the video? There's a senator from Indiana, and he's talking about interracial marriages. He's saying that they're gonna bring it to the higher ups because it should be up to the states to decide whether they want to marry interracial couples. This is America. So, in other words, they're thinking about taking away interracial marriages. And it is up for discussion. It's called the Interracial Marriage Laws of 2025. But now can we agree that America is racist now? Can we agree with this now? It's right in front of our face. I'm gonna repost the video, but they're thinking about taking away interracial marriages.
Family, after there were very, very high temperatures, of Americans reacting to these senators saying that the states should have the power, to ban interracial marriages. The senator pretended and said that he misunderstood the question, and that's a lie. He was very, very intentional. He was saying that he prefers that states are granted power to end interracial marriages. And family, that is very, very wrong. And that did not sit well with many Americans. Americans didn't stay quiet on Twitter, TikTok, and new outlets. These outlets lit up immediately. Some said, how do you misunderstand a question about interracial marriage? What wasn't clear in the question from the interview? You all have heard it. He was just trying to pretend. Others pointed out if the Supreme Court hadn't stepped back in 1967, couples in states like Virginia, Alabama, Mississippi could still have been criminalized just for being in love. Family, you cannot criminalize somebody for being in love. You cannot criminalize somebody because they love a person who has a different skin texture. That just shows us that we are going back to the days of Jim Crow. We are going back to the days of slavery. We are slowly forcing discrimination outwardly in America, very, very loudly. How do you arrest somebody because they married a white lady? Why would you arrest a white lady because she's married to to a black man? That does not make sense. The fact that people even had to clap back at it shows how fragile progress can be. This wasn't just a political slip. It struck at the heart of what it means to be American. Freedom, equality, and the right to love who you love. That just shows us that this guy was trying to remove some of these privileges that Americans have. The freedom to love. This just struck the heart of what it means to be American. There's no freedom, no equality, and the right to love what you love, and that is actually very, very wrong. Seeing these happen in this day and time, what was the intention of this senator? What was the end goal of him trying to suggest that interracial marriages shouldn't be allowed to marry? The politician in question is Senator Mike Brown from Indiana. During a press conference, he was asked if the Supreme Court should have protected interracial marriage in 1967, or if that decision should have been left up to individual states. And shockingly, he said it should have been left to the states because he thinks that each state could give a ruling about these interracial marriages differently. And in this case, Indiana could be one of these states that now would be able to be vocal and say that there will be no interracial marriages in America. Family, I know what is wrong with whatever this senator was trying to introduce in America. This guy wasn't playing around. He wasn't joking. The fact that he said that he was misunderstood was a lie because there is an agenda that he's introducing, and this agenda could possibly pass into law in the near future. Many a times these politicians are usually very, very clever. They introduce an idea, then pretend that that wasn't their intention, just to see how people will welcome whatever is being introduced into the general public. In this case, him trying to introduce that each state, can have their own law about interracial marriages is clear enough to tell us that the whole idea is for states to refuse interracial marriages to go on in America. And I want to repeat a question that I asked, as I introduced this video. What could be the core reason why interracial marriages shouldn't be allowed in America? According to me, and according to how I see these that Senator Mike Brown saw these as a threat, interracial marriages. As interracial marriages continue being popular in America, that means that white children are slowly fading. And I repeat, for interracial marriages to continue and many couples, thriving in these interracial marriages, that would mean that white children are slowly fading, because when white and black is mixed, we all know what is happening. The black man and the black woman, the black people possess a dominant gene, while the genes of the white folks are usually recessive. So when they mix, many a times the children who's born is brown, and that is a threat to the white supremacists, because they believe in numbers. They believe that when there are many, they can be able to control the world. They can be able to control other races. So having these interracial marriages tells us that they are afraid that their numbers will go on decreasing as years goes by. In his words, he basically admitted that interracial marriages protections were judicial activism, and that states should decide if people of different races can be legally married. And the moment his comments hit the internet, Americans across the country lit up with reactions, angry, shocked, and honestly heartbroken. And that is why you're seeing, what people are saying in this video. Most of the people in the video are heartbroken. They are wondering what was in the head of this senator as he was trying to introduce this. Was he trying to end interracial marriages because of the threat I have mentioned? Or is there another hidden agenda by the American government that we are yet to know or we are yet to understand? Family, let me know in the comment section down below what you think about this video. What do you think about the senator of Indiana and his suggestion about states having the authority to decide if interracial marriages can actually happen? Guys, like the video so that it can be recommended to other YouTube users, and I'd be very, very grateful. I'd also request that you do consider subscribing to the channel. We are currently on the road to 50,000 subscribers, and guys, we can never achieve this milestone if you all don't share our work widely with your friends and family. The goal of our channel has always been to tell black stories, black history, black empowerment, and ensure we tell black stories the black way. Because if we give the supremacists an opportunity to tell our stories, many a times our stories are distorted and they are whitewashed. Thank you guys, and see you all in our next episode. Goodbye for now.